Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spar and Brawl. I hope you're having a decent day. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Sam, and we're back with a midweek edition of Progressive Tweets. So this is all new. What you're seeing right now, it's not from our podcast from last week. And then, so please like and subscribe, and we're going to get right into this. There's been quite a few events that have happened, some a little bit sad, some quite sad. You'll see, we'll get into them over the past day or two. So we're going to discuss all that, and then we'll be back in a day or two with our usual podcast. All right, Sam, let's get into this. So the first four tweets, Sam, we don't have to necessarily read them systematically. I'm going to put them on the screen, but they're all about Madeleine Albright passing away, I guess. And we're getting the same stuff as you usually get when one of these people passes away. So Jonathan Cook, for instance, wrote, "Yes, BBC, let's remember Madeleine Albright as a trailblazer she was, a war criminal who justified a UN sanctions policy on Iraq that even by her own admission killed at least 500,000 Iraqi children. The price, she said, was worth it." Otherwise, Jimmy Dore and Aaron Maté both point out, go ahead, this insane tweet by ABC News. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just haven't read the BBC article, but it says ex-US Secretary of State tributes are paid to Czech immigrant who was the first woman to become the top US diplomat. So at least in the title, they weren't too, they just, that she was the first woman to become top US diplomat. Not that that's like means that much considering what she did, but
No, exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
If anything, she's a proof that representation doesn't work. But
so it doesn't make a difference. But like the ABC one, though, I mean, I love that they got Hillary Clinton, Obama, and Bill Clinton said a few quotes, and apparently Hillary Clinton said that so many people in the world are alive and living better lives because of her service.
And Bill Clinton, immense loss to the world at the time when we need the lessons of her life the most. Obama, an Ethiopian came, and I can see the top. An Ethiopian man came up to Madeleine and said, "Only in America could a refugee from Africa meet the Secretary of State." She replied, "Only in America could a refugee from Central Europe become a Secretary of State," I imagine, because she was she came from. She's an interesting figure. I've heard she was, I don't know if it's true or not, she was sort of a protege of Brzezinski, who, the founder of Taliban, famously. In many, and a lot of people say Obama's foreign policy was very much a follow-up to Brzezinski's doctrine. And I would say Brzezinski was it's quite funny. Kissinger gets this sort of reputation for being this shadowy figure behind, Dore, and being very good at making deals. But I think Brzezinski may have been better than Kissinger in making alliances, just doing evil stuff clandestinely. She came from that school. I wouldn't even call her necessarily neocon. She's more like a conservative neocon, if that makes sense, as in a more careful, like Obama.
I think so. I mean, you're comparing it perhaps to the Bush guys who followed after, who were maybe a bit more
Cheney,
reckless in their
they're
approach.
far more aggressive. She's more let's just do drone attacks. Why do we need to send troops? But anyway,
if she had drones back then. But you forgot to highlight one important connection as well. She was Anna Kasparian's mentor.
Oh no, she wasn't. Come on, that's unfair. I mean, I was watching last night by the way, I'm not gonna ever remember where I was where 9/11 happened or a lot of other things, but I'm gonna remember when I heard her news of her passing, because I was watching Grey Zone. They had Scott Ritter or and the military guy, the expert on Russia, Stefan. And and as they were discussing the news, the issue never came up. They never said it. Max Blumenthal said that the tweet just came out, the news just broke that she's passed away and all that. And then Max just on the screen, as they are, three of them are talking. Aaron Maté was there too. He just put up the picture of Anna Katsurian next to Madeleine Albright for no reason. There was no discussion of her. There was nothing to do with it. Like, that interview. It's just that was on the scene for a couple of minutes. And Aaron Maté and Max were just like, snickering. But yeah,
I hope she acknowledges it. I mean, I feel like, because people are probably going to be bombarding her Twitter and everything with this. So I wouldn't be surprised if she puts out a tweet or says something, or if Cenk says something. I mean, I hope so. If I were them, I would just ignore it, because they can't say anything. There's no good way out of that. I would just ignore it. Like, what could she say?
I think, to be honest, it's not that difficult. But the problem is that, she made it, like, it was a mistake anybody could make. That's why I kind of felt bad for criticizing her. She, like, in the original interview, she said, I don't know, in the beginning, it's an honor to like do an interview with you. And it's a tactical mistake. I don't know. I feel bad for her for that. But you get them. You might. I don't know. If I see Obama tomorrow, I might say it's an honor. I don't.
Yeah, like
I don't like
a knee-jerk reaction.
Criminal.
Yeah, that's why. Remember, I made this.
Yeah, exactly. I think you get you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry. I was just going to say that I just remember that's why we made this video. And in the video, I said, I find the way that she's treating Aaron Maté much worse than her Madeleine Albright thing. Because for that, at least you can say maybe she learned her lesson. But with the Aaron Maté stuff and other stuff, she would come back and double down and, everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, come on, that was like, okay, she was young, or not that young, I don't know. Did an interview with somebody super famous. She didn't do a good interview, whatever. But the other one is just like a slander. It's like criminal activity. But yeah, I would imagine. I do hope they do. I hope it causes another round of controversy and we have a lot of drama to the garbage fire. So,
Exactly. There's still time. If there's any drama, if it could come out in the next 24 hours, that would be great, ahead of our next episode and not right after we're done. But hey. But let me read one more tweet about Madeleine Albright and then we move on.
I'm glad that it's completely clear that our incentive and interest are largely okay. What benefits us exactly? We hope that happens.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway.
But Sam, just this last one about her. Someone tweeted, Madeleine Albright is dead. She called me an anti-Semite when I was 17 to a packed audience.
What? Wow, that's very personal.
Yeah, so this guy's not letting it go.
Yeah, Max Blumenthal played a video of her, which hopefully when we have the articles or something we discuss further, that she called. She was at a bookshop or something, book signing, a speech, whatever, and there were some people from Serbia that were protesting and stuff because she was involved in the bombings and all that. And then like in a moment of anger and stuff, she says that disgusting Serbs or something like that.
Jeez.
Something, yeah, like, I don't know if racist, but definitely xenophobic type, like. And she's, so she's famous for being quite and before she got there, man, she was a feisty lady. She was like 8 years old already, and she was like, shut up, get out, you ass. It was the craziest, I didn't expect the Secretary of State to be quiet, so like, I'm gonna cut you, bitch.
Hold me back.
There were bodyguards that were holding her back. It's like, okay, lady, calm down. But yeah, so
nice. I haven't seen that. Okay, I'll check it out for tomorrow.
She's I must say, she's a far more interesting character than Hillary, I would say. Like, she was a genuine, like, what do you call them, bureaucrats in the worst sense of the word.
I mean, Hillary Clinton might probably be like my least favorite politician, like the one who, like, I can clearly say why I hate her, why she pisses me off, what I've seen her do, you know, like it happened during my time. I don't have to go read
I
about it,
I
all this. So like out of
I have some
everyone, I think
sympathy
she
for her.
pisses. Yeah, no, I don't really have much sympathy for her.
I mean, not let's
Yeah,
not get
yeah,
ahead of
I know
us.
what you mean.
But relative to like Bill Clinton, man, I find Bill Clinton to be far more like Bill Clinton. Looking at him gives me the, you know, just it grosses me out really.
Yeah.
Like or even Obama. To Obama, just what a
No, I prefer Obama over Hillary Clinton.
Hillary. I don't know because in 2008, especially, she was more progressive than Obama. But then everybody just went for Obama because he looked. I mean, on the
Yeah.
issues of foreign policy, he may have been. But I feel her bitterness. She feels like I've tried everything. Why don't you elect? I will do anything to be elected. I have sacrificed children. I have took over nations. What do you want?
I swear.
So her bitterness makes her somewhat, you know, understandable to me. Obama or Clinton, just these like they just coasting their whole life, like doing nothing really, like just
Man,
coasting.
Bill Clinton, please go check this out. He has a master class out now. His trailer, like the 5 seconds, is the worst thing you will ever hear. I mean, it's like he gives like the stupidest advice, like know what you
What is
want
it
to
about?
do
How
or
to
something like that.
how
Yeah,
to
I don't
have
even know.
sex without
Yeah, I
your
don't even
wife
know.
finding
I
out?
don't even know what he's teaching. I don't even know what he's teaching.
Because even if that is the case, he sucks at that. Even like the whole world found out. I
Yeah.
don't know, like pro leadership, I assume.
Yes, and it's just
Problem solving, team building, all the bullshit.
but anyway, let's move on from her to something, you know, that is supposed to be happy, but I guess it's still a bit sad, which is Julian Assange got married finally 2 days ago.
Oh, nice.
So WikiLeaks here posted selection of pictures of Julian Assange's bride, Stella Morris, from today's Assange wedding. No pictures of Julian Assange from today are available as prison authorities deemed images of the groom a security risk. Wow. And if you go just to the next picture, someone did a nice little artwork painting. If you just go to the next tweet.
It's a very no, but I'm just sorry. I'm just looking at the picture.
Yeah, no.
The one with the family or whatever that looks. There's this children in a Scottish attire, and there is that somebody with Indian thingy with a what do you call it?
No,
head. No,
she's
that's not
just wearing also like something that it kind of looks like something you'd wear for a wedding.
Oh, I thought it's
Yeah.
I thought it's like super multicultural.
But man, with Julian Assange,
oh, that's a nice picture. That the artwork, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so yeah, these two went together. That's why I skipped past them quickly. But man, and with Julian Assange, also, we didn't discuss, but I think his appeal and everything got rejected as well, right? He's not allowed to appeal or
no, he's not even allowed to appeal. So that's super nice. So yeah, it's pretty much. But just before moving, aesthetically, I wish the picture didn't. His hair just all pulled back. I wish a couple of them were just hanging.
I don't like this hanging.
I don't like it when it gets a bit mullety. You know, when
I don't know.
Yeah, but especially when you have yeah, I wish it was a bit more. I don't know. I have a bit of an emo hairstyle liking. But sorry, I'm
no worries.
I'm into the artwork. But yeah, no, he's he's finished, I assume, pretty much.
Yeah, unfortunately. Let's see on this. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know.
But okay, Sam. So now we're done with all these kind of grouped tweets. So now we're gonna go one by one, and I think the next few are on Russia, Ukraine. So let's start with our friend Pepe Escobar, where I get some of my news from. I hope it's typically accurate. I don't know what's going on often.
I think it is.
A voice of reason in Eurostupidistan. Hungary Foreign Minister Peter Zijarto said, some countries are dependent on Russian energy supplies. We don't do this for fun. Energy supply is not a philosophical or ideological question, but a physical, mathematical one.
Well, I mean, look.
I think I agree with him.
Yeah. Again, this is actually, it's like Iraq. Like they buy their energy from Russia, probably because it's the cheapest option. If they had cheaper, I mean, now Europeans are talking to Qatar apparently, and I assume America, but the Qatar one, they did actually like came out with a statement. So we'll see. We'll see.
Man,
See if they can get a
but
good deal.
yeah, the Qatar one. I mean, I would really like, if you or like something, start looking at how the different countries in the Middle East are, behaving towards Russia, Ukraine. And yeah, I feel like Qatar might be positioning itself a bit differently than Saudi Arabia and UAE and Israel. I mean, I'm just taking from Al Jazeera, their coverage is, quite in line with the coverage that you see on European channels.
Qatar,
And yeah, I would like to know more
Qatar
about that.
is more aligned generally with like I mean, I don't know if it's true, but they say that, in Washington, Democrats are bought by Qataris and Republicans are bought by Saudis. So I would assume they are far closer to the whole, like neoliberal order that, America. So yeah, but at the same time, Qatar is not I assume they hedge their bets because they know they're not a player. Like they're not gonna, they did try a little bit to punch above their weight, and it almost led to them being cut off from the peninsula. Like at some point, Saudis were considering literally like cutting Qatar
Okay,
off
how about
from
we
the
just
peninsula.
cut
And
it?
okay, fucking
They'll just swim away like
Jesus Christ, calm.
like a boat that's just been like
Is that
unhooked.
legal? Well, yeah, it was the craziest idea. We just build a canal. What's the problem? So I mean, yeah, I don't think that. I mean, they did this couple last week. They had a big meeting with Iranian officials. They signed like some cooperation plan of action and stuff. Nothing concrete. So yeah, they are definitely on a different side than Saudis. But I don't think that like they're not a big player like Saudis.
Yeah.
So.
But no, yeah, you just said, just said because but they sell gas too.
But
they sell their gas mainly to East Asia, but yeah, they're right there as well if they want to.
Yeah, but you're right though. I need to, or somebody better, like needs to look at because it is quite fascinating because at this, look, traditionally, whenever in OPEC or OPEC plus, one country gets sanctioned or one country for some reason can't produce, unlike most, I guess like most things in real life, unlike what OPEC should be, like OPEC is supposed to be for the fact that, or OPEC plus, that we organize together, so we save market share for everybody and everybody gets some. But as soon as somebody gets sanctioned or for some reason can't supply their oil stuff, all the other ones basically increase their production, trying to get over that market share, and they try to they backstab each other all the time.
But not this time
around. Yeah. It's been this time around it's been extremely fascinating because what you've had was like, again, and I still don't get it because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, we're gonna hopefully talk about it more maybe tomorrow, but Sagar had that video, and I'm not a big fan of Sagar at all, but I think he was like in his analysis right that Saudi Arabia, they don't have any popular support. They don't really have any part for like military support. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're cutting up a bit, but yeah, I can hear you. I don't know what's up with the connection. Okay, sorry about those internet connection issues, guys. Hopefully now it's a bit better. So yeah, why don't you pick up when you were making the point about Sagar and Saudi Arabia?
The breaking points at this video, and Sagar talked about that, he was very upset, I would say, about the fact that Saudis weren't taking, Joe Biden's call and they weren't helping with bringing down the gas and oil prices. And he was making the point that why are we supporting this regime? Because, they don't really, and I mean, to be honest, I think some parts of what he said was super. We're going to talk about it in more details, but it was kind of like, in a way, I mean, even I'm not a big fan of Saudis.
Yeah.
But I don't even talk about another nation.
Mean, that's like if the line of racism started from like here, he I don't know how he did it, but he was like right hanging out right before, because a few of the words,
xenophobic.
Yeah, exactly. But a few of the words, like I thought he was gonna say backward, but he doesn't say backward. He said something else. He said like,
well,
I
he
have to
didn't. No,
listen
no,
to it
no.
again. I wasn't ready.
He
We'll
said
have it ready
he
for a
ba-
podcast.
yeah, we'll
But
talk about it. But let's just say, without, I think without saying backward, he did implying it by saying positive things about others in comparison. Like saying,
yeah,
unlike China, which is like a
yeah.
great
No,
civilization,
I mean,
which
I
is
didn't like his comment, but also his analysis. I think it was a bit simplistic, perhaps, and maybe he was forgetting a few things. And one more thing, by the
yeah,
way,
I agree.
from the
Yeah.
Biden administration, I feel like they're also perhaps, I mean, I'm speculating a bit here. They're also maybe using the fact that, Saudi Arabia is not increasing the oil supply and all this as like their kind of excuse of why, we're trying everything we can, but these guys won't listen. So the oil prices are up, unfortunately, and also leading to inflation. I mean, this is their good excuse. This is like their number one excuse that people also seem to have bought. And, even if Saudi Arabia increases its production, I mean, I don't know how much oil they would go down, but perhaps they wouldn't even go down enough, and Biden would have lost that excuse. But
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's necessarily the crucial factor, but it would definitely help probably. But again,
yeah,
I mean, my surprise most of all is the fact, I don't know if it's true, the reports that the Saudis and UAE are not taking America's call, the reports that Saudis are gonna build the refineries in China for Russian oil. And it seems very odd. And I mean, I don't know, it feels like again, I think I don't think it's, by the way, Biden, Trump, they're all the same. During Trump years, Aramco facilities were attacked by Houthis. And basically America went saying, yeah, it's bad, you shouldn't do that.
yeah,
bad
yeah.
Houthis. So, and put them on it, again, not that, they put them on a terrorist list, they help supply the Saudi warplanes, blah, blah, blah. But Saudis expected almost like probably something like what happened when Saddam invaded
No, it was
Kuwait.
nothing. Yeah, I mean, that attack didn't change the U.S. position or response in any significant
No,
way.
a lot of, there was like a UN goddamn exhibition with like, look at this is a receipt, it says we bought it from Tehran, sent to city center bazaar, shop to it was almost like ridiculous, the amount of detail they had. But yeah. And then so I think maybe Saudis already have made arrangements with others for their own security and for their facilities security, and they don't need the US anymore. But again, my assumption was that the whole Saudi family and the whole Aramco are basically bought by like CIA and NSA and all that. So I don't get it. I really am confused. All I can come up with is that basically there is such an isolated group of people who are in oil industry, both in US and in Saudi Arabia, that are benefiting from high prices, that they don't care at all about the US-Saudi relations.
Yeah,
or
but I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, I think we're like also undermining Saudi a little bit. I mean, there's, I mean, I'm guessing they've made investments and, saved some money here and there. I mean, they're not like
no money. Yes,
two people there like pumping oil. I mean, they've been a country for a while and they tried to bring corporations and cities and, and they have a big population
money,
as well and all this. So, I mean.
Yeah, but the problem with Saudi Arabia is the fact that it's big population. It's not like exactly like Dubai or Kuwait where you can buy off everybody. So there is significant population which is in poverty. Then at the same time, again, yeah, they have money, they have a lot of education system, blah blah blah. It's not, yeah. I mean, I don't want to go as far as Sigar. Tourism,
Islamic tourism.
Yeah, I mean, look, but
that stuff
Islamic
costs
tourism,
money.
That's true.
It's not free,
brings money as well.
Yeah, brings money. I mean, exactly.
And it costs, buildings and all that.
Of course, yeah.
But they military-wise and like, man, in 1979 when there was a attempted, like there was a rebellion in Hejaz and they took over Mecca, not Hejaz, Kaaba, the the house of God in Islam. they took over that, and like they had to bring in French, like I think French commandos or whatever. So it's like the military wise and security wise, yeah, it's very surprising to me that they can become independent from US. That's the surprise. Like I assumed like within a day or two there will be a coup d'etat. But then again, maybe Mohammed bin Salman putting all those people in Ritz-Carlton, maybe he got rid of anybody who was,
Yeah.
not loyal to him. So
like all the dangerous people are kept in this hotel. It's like a funny way to go about it.
Ritz. it's I mean, I must say, I was like, a lot of people are saying, I mean, he did a lot of awful things. They just, by the way, they just beheaded like 81 people in one day. It was crazy. Yeah, it's just, but what you want, like they keep saying, Saudi Arabia needs a strong leader, needs reform. Well, that's the cost of reform. Like you have to basically bring in a bunch of little lords, all, consolidate your power. It's a very strange time. It's interesting time.
But I think, and let's move on. We'll come back to this part tomorrow. But yeah, the army is particularly, from what I understand, like weak. Like they rely on Pakistani soldiers. They rely on the US for a bunch of the things. I mean, they have all the equipment.
Somalia, I think.
Yeah, it's like these people who build like a new like sports complex, and there's like no coach or like nothing to run it. They just have like state-of-the-art stuff for like no one. We have the best gymnastic equipment, no gymnasts, but
yeah, exactly. It's a very weird situation. Yeah, they don't have the best, and a lot of stuff they buy is bullshit because Americans forced them like to buy a stuff that was built for European warfare or something.
I mean, that's where Sager's thing was weird. He was like, that's where his analysis was also. He's like, we shouldn't sell them. We shouldn't sell them the plane. It was like they want to sell you, making it seem like you gave the plane for free to like the Saudis. You get money in return.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, Sager is still thinking of this, these type of food. They think states have in like kind of like John Mearsheimer, realist people, they are viewing a state as a entity on its own and its own interest, and they are not doing politically as we wish. But that's a somewhat limited way of looking at it. Like, exactly, Raytheon and stuff. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. It's like punishing yourself too in a way. So yeah,
exactly.
Okay, this is a journalist, Sam, who tweeted this. Richard Medher. So he wrote, Visa and MasterCard pulled out of Russia, but China saw the opportunity, came in and linked its Union Pay to Russia's Mir system. Now Caracas is in talks to link Mir to Venezuela, the West shooting itself in the foot again. And then he tweeted on it as well. If I was in Washington, the last thing I would do is push Russia into China's arms, and at the same time drive the global south to forge closer ties with both of them. And that's exactly what the US and EU are doing right now. Yeah, again, this comes to the other part of the Russia-Ukraine stuff that I'm very interested, really getting, the European side, okay, we got it. It's like 9 channels who say the exact same thing, not nonstop. But these other relationships and dynamics, these are interesting aspects to be explored.
I must say, I am feeling somewhat uncomfortable, just like Bernie Sanders in 2016 type thing, 2020 type thing, that there's too much talks of like realignment and the world is changing, that is making me feel like something's gonna happen just about now, and America is just gonna destroy everybody. Just like there's gonna be a coup d'etat in Russia, Caracas falls within a day, then Iran is suddenly like there's a revolution in favor of like I
feel you. I mean, like you're saying, worried. I thought you were saying let's not also take the other narrative too far, that on the other side, like everybody is now unified against US or EU. That's also, I mean,
Yeah, exactly. But it does seem like the evidence somewhat suggests that, but this is just a personal feeling. I feel unease. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's move on to Aaron Maté, DII analyst. That's what, like Department of something. Some analysts wrote, carnage and destruction could be much worse than it is. That's what the facts show. This suggests to me that Putin is not intentionally attacking civilians, that perhaps he's mindful that he needs to limit damage in order to leave an out for negotiations. So this is also what Douglas McGregor was kind of saying. A lot of people are saying this. So,
and Jason Ritter, the guy I was talking about, was saying the same last night, that they are not. Yeah, probably. That's probably true, but then,
for their own interest, of course. Let's not get
let's not get
here.
it. Yeah. But I assume Americans, when first they went to Iraq, I don't know, like, about the. But I assume in the beginning of war, it's usually you're not as like if it's a couple of months, and
exactly. And hopefully, it doesn't reach a couple of months.
Yeah,
in Russia and Ukraine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam. This next one I
but
got it from.
We should find out the IA is.
Yeah. I'm just pointing out. But Sam, this next one now, this one I got from LinkedIn, but this I found quite interesting. So the conflict in Ukraine has not only triggered a dramatic humanitarian crisis in the country, it could also have catastrophic consequences. And as you look at the graph, you can imagine what it's talking about. So how much wheat in the Horn of Africa comes from Ukraine? I mean, I didn't think that such high percentages in these countries, like Rwanda gets 90% of its wheat, Djibouti 40, Somalia 30, 60, Kenya 67, Eritrea 79, and poor South Sudan 0. But these numbers are, you hear that a lot of the world wheat comes from Ukraine, but you just wouldn't think that, that it's, reaching all the countries around the world, and that they're selling.
And I think they banned export of wheat and a lot of stuff because of war. And and another, I think, exporter of, like, I don't know wheat specifically, but I think raw materials and stuff, food materials, is Russia. So there's going to be a major, I think a lot of organizations said there's going to be like loads of potentially famines and
but this is crazy. Doesn't this, like, I mean, I would have thought that like every country would produce some of its wheat. I don't know. I mean, I mean, these stats are pretty crazy, They're a bit like surprising.
The thing is, I don't know if this is the case, but I assume African nations get subsidies, like Brazil to an extent, to keep its forest and not turn them into farmlands and like
perhaps
and stuff. So I mean, I assume, I hope so, at least. I don't know if that's the case.
But I found this chart to be interesting. Back to Pepe in the next tweet. So again, this is the narrative again. The whole global south is fast adapting to the new paradigm. The US dollar and the euro and everything denominated in dollars and euros are high risk assets. I don't know.
Are they?
I don't know to that extent.
I mean, the military guy was also saying a similar thing about the fact that dollar. Jason Ritter guy was dollar. Scott Ritter. Jason Ritter is an actor. But anyway, So I don't know. I would assume, to be honest, if I was gonna invest my money in rubles or dollar or yuan, I would still go with dollar.
Yeah, me too at the moment. Not that, although it's a hypothetical question, of course. But
I have about $3 right now. You have to go to crypto. I hear you can double your money within an hour.
I would like it for it to take a bit longer. Can it be like a month? I don't want to.
No. You have to pay attention and spend your life on the trend. But no, I mean, to be fair, maybe rubles, like, actually now that it's gone down, like, it's a good time to buy because it will go back up fast. I don't know. But
that's what they say,
I would assume,
when it goes down, you buy.
Exactly. You buy. You've seen the same movies, haven't you? But dollar is just, in terms of stability, seems to be, that's the thing about dollar.
So far, for sure. But hey,
yeah.
but I
I
guess,
don't know.
but
Yeah,
Pepe
what happens
Escobar
if
is also probably saying this because apparently the Russians have now told the Europeans that, you know, if you want to buy energy from us, you have to buy it, you know, in our currency and everything. So I don't know how true that is.
who?
The Russians, they've told the Europeans and everyone that, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
now if you're
probably. Yeah,
buying energy, yeah.
yeah, probably that's true. Although
Okay.
I assume, I don't know. I assume because they need dollars at least for a while to adjust. They
Yeah.
might not yet. Yeah. Anyway.
So I don't. Okay, so now we move on to the segment where it's just like tweets on different topics. So this person wrote, I hold a master's degree in econ. I never heard a single mention of unions in a single course. That is true, but although not surprising. Only place I can even imagine them being mentioned is in some sort of antitrust collusion or market distortion context. Someone else wrote, at some point, political economy became
Oh,
economics. And
okay.
hold on. Let me just read the and thought as though it's similar to physics. And just on the next one, just the next tweet as well is related. The split between econ and political science has been so destructive. You see it even in basic courses where things are separated into normative and positive statements. The idea that economic system exists independently of political ones is ridiculous. And finally, I minored in econ in college, and all I can say is that econ education is 50% abstraction unrelated to real world and 50% pro-capitalist propaganda. A real econ education would incite revolution. So actually, the guy who J9, until his last statement, I mean, I've also had a few classes of econ, quite a few actually, and I agree. They are one of the weirdest classes because there's all these kind of
Bullshit.
assumptions that they have that come, I've told you this, that come from other fields, even like from psychology and all this. And then based on that, they kind of base their reasoning and rationale.
I think positivism in general, which has taken, I mean, I kind of want to talk about this positivism in
Yeah.
general, but is the most unscientific science because exactly they suddenly go, okay, we have made these assumptions, we have 5 people, and now based on that we can
Yeah.
like
I mean, to
generalize
be
about.
fair
And
though, sorry,
and
you just
just
mentioned, sorry.
no, I just want to give a historical background that, for example, David Ricardo or Wilfred Pareto or Karl Marx, they all consider themselves political economists. I think Adam Smith even considered himself a moral philosopher, if I'm not mistaken. So this idea that economy as a sort of a mathematical or physical sort of subject is very new, and it sort of it came from that sort of Austrian school of positivism and empiricism, and I think it's the like that it's extremely annoying as well because because I studied political economy, that was my thing, and the majority of people who are economists, they don't really know shit. They're just talking nonsense on TV or wherever, and they're almost like, they remind me of gurus or mystics in India or these religious figures. They're basically saying nonsense with jargon, just like gurus with the trinity of the
Yeah.
spirits and the triad of the aspects of blah blah blah. They say that they use some jargon and everybody's dumbfolded and
Yeah.
so yeah, I think
I mean,
the separation of economy from politics, like these two, like economy as I think that's the most idiotic subject that we have. I mean, psychology is up there, but yeah.
but you know, I'm glad that you brought up the gurus and all this because I feel like it's even unfair to blame like econ on positivism because they go further than it's like
yeah,
their issue isn't this positivism, it's this exactly this way that they assume that people's brain works, that they bring from different fields, and that is kind of like their starting point, and then it goes from there.
I mean, look, you do have psychological behavioralist economists like what's his name, the guy who won the Nobel Prize, which is problematic on itself. But yeah, so you do have those who like recognize limits of rationality and blah blah blah. But and I would say, I'm not necessarily against empiricism, but I do think it has taken such a weird form over the years. You read, I mean, you read the economic paper or marketing paper, and it's just ridiculous. It's like a mathematical fucking equation that if the X is considered the value of that people put into the effort that they're going to make a choice, then we can divide that by Y, which is the time they spend making. What the fuck are you talking about?
I
Like,
really
this is
feel like you're
nonsense.
not even exaggerating. I mean, so at
No, I'm not.
uni,
I
I had to
genuinely am
do
not.
micro and macro classes. Okay, pass them somehow. Then I got to the next level of class, and this one, okay. I mean, listen, I suck at math and all this. I couldn't do the class. But I swear to God, the teacher would come and he would put one equation on the board, and then they would solve their time solving the equation. I mean, that is still the biggest question I have. If I could just have one question to ask, I'd be like, what was this equation about, by the way? I mean, I can't solve it, but you just tell me if I solve it, like, what is this?
That's because they considered, and I don't think I'm a huge fan of British empiricists like the John Stuart Mill, David Hume, Jeremy Bentham, but like the originally. But it has evolved into this sort of almost a religious, I think, science that, you know, everything needs to be reduced to a scripture that is the mathematical formula, that is the science, that is the data, something that cannot be. I mean,
the proof is in the pudding. You know, their predictions fail all the time, and all these things. Not that others' predictions don't fail, but you know, theirs is not supposed to fail.
No, I think it is. No, it is. It's almost like, I mean, the invisible hand. I mean, not that all positivists necessarily are neoliberal, but the invisible hand is pretty much as close to God works in mysterious ways as you can get. Like, you know, it's God works in why did my child die? God works in mysterious ways. Why did the economy just destroy? It's not to do with people making, no, it's just, it's almost, it's pseudoscientific. It's pseudoscientific, but they managed to somehow, I mean, in 200 years, I hope it will be looked back on the same like way. Economy will be, I hope, will be looked upon the same way as astrology is pretty much looked at.
Like, but I mean, they're extremely successful right now in university and everything. I mean, you know, there are
more econ,
and there are more econ students than like all the social science students put together.
When I was in LSE, the finance department was like, I don't know, 2,000, like the whole university was 9,000 people. They were like about, I don't know, 70% of it. And we were in international history, we were like 5.
It was actually only you, just like your imagination.
It was me, a couple of imaginary friends. The professor was there. He had to be. He was paid to be there. It was ridiculous. It was, and they had like the nicest, best building. We were going in this backwater room. The pipes were like the rain would come in.
No, definitely. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, this tweet of Cenk really pissed me off. I don't know why, but I mean, I know why. If the election were held today, Trump would probably beat Biden. Let's go segment by segment. Yeah, that one's even annoying. But even the first, fine, let me read the whole thing. If the election were held today, Trump would probably beat Biden and almost certainly end democracy. Stupidest 5 words put together there. I've seen this movie before. The Titanic can sink. We need a real fighter on the Democratic side. Civility is going to cost us the country. We must fight back aggressively. Okay, besides the last 2 statements, which kind of maybe make sense. I mean, the first one, if the election were held today, Trump would probably beat Biden. Let's start with that one. I'm not too sure. And again, we're talking about a few votes, and then the second one, and almost certainly end democracy. Yeah. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Like, that's not even a thing. Like,
again, I consider democracy to be equally
yeah, but I mean,
like,
you know,
he means a real thing like free market. But he's like, he's gonna do a fascist, like one party system, Trump party.
Yeah, right.
The guy can't barely. Anyway, I mean, he might. I'm not one of those people like.
No, he won't.
Stupid. No, he like stupider people have like become tyrants. It has happened, like, you know, but
not in the US. I mean, not in that context. No, if he was ruling over like an island with 20 people, then I could see it. But you know, I mean,
Look, man, I just want to keep my options open, but at the same time, I don't need to. I feel Cenk Uygur should have gone into wrestling promotion.
Yeah, I swear.
And civility is going to cost us, and we must fight back aggressively. I don't know what he means by fighting back aggressively, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, last two statements are better than the rest. But
no, they're not. Though they're contradictory. Civility is going. Oh, civility is going to cost us the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought idea. So wait a minute. So what is he suggesting? It seems
he's suggesting to not be afraid to point at Republicans and tell them that they're pieces of shit.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I've seen this movie before, the Titanic.
And what movie is even referring? Like, actually, you haven't seen this movie. Like,
Titanic.
Yeah, okay, putting Titanic. But in real life, like, you haven't, Did this happen to the US? Did this happen to UK? Did this happen to France? It has happened to Japan.
It has happened to other
the USSR, nations. Yeah. But like other relevant nations. Of course, relevant nations. I know that there have been, comparable ones in comparable contexts and situations.
Like you mean you're talking about the move towards a dictatorship?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay,
or anything, or even such a drastic change of system in recent times. Like, I'm just wondering what example he's referring to.
I mean, okay, yeah, but then again, even dictatorship. That's why I think people have a sort of warped view of in dictatorships. They usually allow a couple of parties, but they're all like aligned to the system. So it's not like you could argue Duterte, maybe, I don't know.
No, I mean, he's just a president that he didn't change the system. I mean, when he's going to be elected,
now he's gonna put his son there. I think
he's gonna try. I think, right? I mean, I think they still have similar
he
elections.
Might succeed. Yeah, I guess he might succeed. He's not there yet.
No, that's different. Listen, I'm not arguing that changes could happen, right? I'm just like saying, like, in the way that he's saying to that extent of context. I'm just wondering what he was thinking. I've seen this movie.
I think he was thinking I should make a tweet that makes me sound tough. That's what he was thinking. But I mean, Trump. I would think Trump would probably beat Biden now today. Maybe I don't know today. Maybe because of the Ukraine, but after the inflation, before Russia attacked Ukraine and inflation was high, I think definitely.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, in the US, one of them losing to the other one. I mean, we're talking about a few votes in like 1 or 2 states and things go that way. So it doesn't mean that, the world has fully changed, that's such a big shift. That's one of them. And even that, I'm not too sure, because there's still Democrats who only vote Democrats, and there are people who hate Trump no matter what. So yeah,
true.
Yeah.
No.
Even that is not so clear cut, I would say. The next tweet, we can just go quickly. This is just about Brazil. Pretty much the Brazilian prosecutor who led the prosecution, Lula, and became a national hero among some, was just ordered by a court to pay Lula. So this is not supposed to be $75,000, but 75,000 reais, Brazilian currency, for defaming Lula by publicly accusing him of being head of an organized crime ring. Meanwhile, Lula leads all 2022 polls. I was just seeing if Glenn Greenwald had more tweets and stuff about Brazil, but not much. So I just got these. I heard that he was being more critical about Lula or something, but I haven't found anything yet.
Yeah, apparently he's not I mean, he says I've never been a big necessarily I'm more radical than he's Lula's party. But I remember this guy, SF Moro, was the guardian and always writing articles, a new hero of somebody who can rescue Brazil from both Bolsonaro and Lula. Oh my god, but that didn't work out.
No, definitely. Back to Cenk. I've never seen disparity as large as between Biden's foreign and domestic policy. He has handled Ukraine brilliantly, while being completely incompetent and useless in domestic policy. Apparently, he's capable of competence. It's amazing what happens when donors tie your hands. okay, take it easy. I mean, we said, yeah, give Biden credit for, pulling out of Afghanistan, although Trump was doing the same thing. And I guess give Biden credit that he hasn't attacked a country, but the circumstance isn't there. But I mean, what are you talking about? Did he change his foreign policy towards Israel, Palestine? He's towards China. What is his behavior? Of course, Russia, Ukraine now. It's not
and
helping. I agree that, domestically, he didn't do anything. But come on, the foreign policy, I think a bit of an exaggeration there, Cenk.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's not Bush. I agree. I mean,
I completely. I mean, even Ukraine, man.
Yeah,
he handled Ukraine brilliantly. What?
It hasn't even finished.
Him to just, it's not let him do his thing.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't eat like. Some would argue maybe if US or NATO were saying that they're not going to become members, maybe this whole thing would have been avoided. Maybe not. Maybe Russia would have attacked anyway. But yeah, again, I don't know why we are treating this guy's tweets. What is going on?
It's just fun. Because,
this guy. Anyway, it is fun. I must say this. I mean, it's almost like a parody.
I swear.
Anyway.
I swear. Moving on to Crystal. Crystal just points out that apparently Kyle's Twitter.
Oh yeah, didn't you hear about that?
No.
I read it on YouTube, you can put messages apparently.
Yeah. Community tab. We do that.
Oh yeah, you're right. So that's where other people can sometimes see it as well. That's interesting. I thought only your subscribers can see it. But anyway, sometimes it comes in my feed. So yeah, apparently Twitter locked his account for putting a picture of somebody's head. Like it was a joke though, I think.
Jesus, man.
They said it violates their rules. I think that's the thing though. I think what happens with left-wing or left-leaning accounts and stuff, they are put under a much more closer sort of a eye.
Yeah.
You even if you just sort of but somebody who's big, not us, with 3 subscribers, they don't care. Somebody who has a lot of subscribers, they care. So they really, if you do a tiny bit of thing, they'll catch you and they'll fuck you up. So I think that's been the case here. I assume. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and these bots also, I just hope our future is not in their hands, because I really don't have much faith in their capabilities of spotting whatever they try to spot as well.
I don't really have much faith in humans either. So, bots are at least ever evolving. Humans suck and have stagnated for at least the last couple of. I mean, yeah, that's true. Oh my God, can you imagine if the bots are produced by Tesla and they just there's a full moon and then just all your historical gets deleted. Yeah, everybody's banned.
But I swear we laugh. I mean, I've seen
probably gonna happen.
I mean, based on our channel, that's where I find a lot of the stupidity, because I feel like when the video is long, they miss things, and when the video is shorter, I mean, you would think at least they have a decent, attention span, but maybe not. But yeah, speaking of people not evolving, I mean, these Bernie Sanders tweets, I mean, I only bring them every time to show how ridiculous and lame they are, but it's kind of getting out of control. So maybe this is the last time. We have never seen in this country the level of corporate greed that we are seeing right now. I mean, A, this is probably maybe not even true. I don't know if it's true or not. And B, are you really the old Bernie? Is this the Bernie we all fell in love with?
It is, to be honest. I mean,
maybe when he said it on TV, there you were like, yeah, Bernie, tell them what's up. But behind the tweet,
on a Twitter,
6 years later,
it feels like, and again, I'm not a big fan of. That's why I kind of like Bernie to an extent, but I'm not a big fan of. This feels to me like preacher, and I do that sometimes here when we talk about this stuff and give my personal opinions and stuff. But it's I don't I want politicians and academics to do real shit. I don't. What is okay? I may agree with him that corporation greed is very bad and it's very high right now, but that's a personal take and
And
personal stuff.
I don't
It's like
even I
it's like
think of
saying, "Oh, being bad is bad, and it's bad." All right, thank you. Yeah, we all know. Great.
But actually, like I can even turn this, I believe, into a semi-constructive criticism, because talking about corporate greed and all this kind of removes all the structural things and all the regulation aspects of it and brings it down to, oh, like, the corporations behaving this way, and not, okay, we don't have these labor regulations or these tax regulations or all this or whatever for the corporation to behave the way that you'd want it to behave. So it's a bit even like childish, unhelpful,
no,
and
no.
maybe, in a way, like, it's not like the worst criticism. If I
Wow,
was a
wow.
corporation, this is like, yeah,
Today
okay,
you're really
we'll be
angry.
this greedy. I don't know. It's just, it kind of, like takes the blame away from the system and government and everything in a way too.
No, I would say it's reductive. I would say it's reductive. It's reductive. I would say, yeah, it's human greed. And again, is it higher than 50 years ago? Who the fuck knows? Based on what? What are you saying? What is the point of saying this
Yeah.
anyway? What, like, saying this? Does anybody now read this and goes, "Oh, interesting, I'm gonna go research greed"? And like, what is going on? What are you doing with your life? Like, you're a senator, for God's. Anyway, I mean, it's not
exactly.
a bad thing.
How do you regulate corporate greed? Let's say, okay, the issue is corporate greed. So what, you're gonna go like send the corporation to, like, I don't know, like some kind of course for them to become less greedy? I don't know. Like,
I guess
corporate altruism classes.
Yeah, I guess you have to sort of. I would assume Bernie Dare would say no. I would suggest like structures that would rein in corporate greed. But yeah, I agree that it's not bad. Again, it's like I feel shitty for, like, it's not a bad thing. Okay, I agree, but I don't know. What's the point? That's why we don't tweet on a Spar and Brawl, because we never know what to tweet. It's like, what's the fucking point?
No, but honestly, if you ask me, you can make like a proper criticism of this and saying that, this isn't even
it's reductive.
Yeah, not constructive in any way. But okay, let's wrap up, Sam, with this last tweet. I think I'm perhaps the only person who's seen this tweet. Rebecca, who I don't know who she is, wrote,
"Anxious lefty."
She wrote, "I understand that research shows aggression in dogs isn't breed specific, but then why are so many fatal attacks caused by pit bull type dogs?" I can explain to her, I believe. "Regardless, something needs to be done about dangerous dog ownership in this country. Too many responsible owners." Okay, but
pit bull type dogs?
Yeah, I don't even know. But
like a breed.
You hear, of course, some of like every year they're like, something that happens, in Canada. I remember in Montreal, this pit bull ran out of his backyard, went to the neighbor's backyard, and like killed the lady. But I mean, I think I understand why this is. It's because people don't get a Chihuahua and ask the Chihuahua to act like a guard dog, right? They go get like a pit bull or another big dog, and then they leave them only outside. They prepare them for that, so they raise them to be a kind of aggressive dog, and then these kind of things happen. So that is my understanding of the theory, which is like, even if you look into the numbers, perhaps like pit bulls have committed more crimes, but I believe that is the reasoning. It's not like, there's nothing inherently like more aggressive, or even they're not even inherently stronger than other big dogs.
So I'm just imagining pit bulls now hacking into banks. Like,
where did you get these stats from? No, I don't believe these stats. Let me see your equation.
The dog community is over policed. This is not the pit bull community. Sorry. While the Chihuahuas are living a luxurious life in the handbags of the people. But yeah. By the way, I was told since I was a kid that the smaller dogs are more aggressive and tend to be more, because what's the corgi? Corgis are famously very aggressive.
Listen, maybe like, okay, I'm not saying that their breed has absolutely no impact on them, right? Like pugs have a hard time breeding because of their breed. However, depending on the size of the dog, you typically train them differently. You teach them different things. Because, my dog, she's small. I can, she knows how to walk and all this, but if push comes to shove, I can just pull her. Whereas if you have like a big Doberman, like, at some point there is no pulling, so you would have to train that dog a bit more and a bit differently. So I think I think it really has to do with the way people treat different breeds because of the circumstance and situation that they get them for. I mean, that's what I would think. I don't know.
The thing, I don't know though, I don't necessarily agree, because we used to have like loads of dogs in a farm sort of villa situation, and we had a massive dog, Alibi, and then chillest dog, and all the big dogs we had pretty chilled, like barely you had to basically go beg them to come play with you. I just want to chillax, leave me alone. But then we have a couple of small ones, and they were always just, and the same same sort of atmosphere of none of them they were told to guard, but they were not really guard dogs. They were just hanging in the garden basically. So I don't know, the smaller dogs, were always more energetic and more sort of and it was quite fun. I remember like I had a small dog always going and sort of with this Alibi, like making a lot of noise, and then finally the Alibi would just go and then just run away.
Man,
so
I don't know. I mean,
I always felt big dogs are more chilled. I don't know.
Perhaps, but I mean, based on what I've seen and my understanding, most of it goes back to how you treat them. So maybe you don't realize the way that the smaller one was treated compared to the bigger one. So they think that kind of behavior is okay, and they can, act in that way and all this. I don't know. Because I mean, dogs are amazing how much you can train. I mean, I don't think this is anything new, groundbreaking I'm saying here. You can really train them.
Very controversial stuff today.
Let's wrap this up.
Calm down.
I tell people how to get dressed. Based on my personal experiences, you put your t-shirt first.
I usually wear my underwear before I wearing my trousers. But it's a personal trick.
I've read about that.
Superman used to do it the other way.
There you go. There you go. But okay.
But I mean, I must say, I do think there must be, like, as you said, like breeding. They breed. What's the dog that they breed it, and now it's the pit bull, or is it
the pug?
Pug, the nose stuff comes into his mouth, and I guess that type of thing probably has some effect on your thing as well, so your behavior. So
no,
you're
for
more
sure.
annoyed.
No, I'm saying of course there is, but most of it really kind of like humans. It comes from how. And going back to her thing, why so many pit bull type dogs, seem to be more aggressive or they cause more injuries, is because more people buy. Typically, if, like I said, you want to get a dog and you want to turn him violent, people often go for pit bulls. Why they do that, that's different.
And they have I guess the bigger dogs have like if you turn a corgi into a violent monster, what's the point? Like, it's like this big.
Exactly. So Rebecca, in case you see this as as someone who got 1 like on Twitter and someone who receives 2 views on YouTube, maybe you'll cross paths. I don't know.
It has I think this has like same level of like potential success as litter in a bottle in an ocean time.
Exactly. But okay. All right. So we'll be back in a day or 2 or so in order to do our usual podcast. But yeah, if you have any comments, questions, criticisms, anything, please leave them down below. If not, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.